Good morning and welcome back to the Opportunistic Trader for Wednesday, September 19th. I wish everybody a good morning. It's a holiday trading day today. Should be relatively quiet, although equity markets are coming off a little bit. S&P down about 3.25 at this point. I wanted to just quickly go over yesterday's trading. It was an interesting day for sure. I feel pretty good that we stayed out of trouble in the S&P and the broad equity markets because we didn't expect a 20 handle rally, but we sidestepped that, which was pretty good. Only had one trade yesterday in crude oil, took a little bit out of crude. So it was a profitable day, although not busy. Look for a little bit today. Don't see much unless something gets really out of whack. Most likely not going to trade today. But again, we're looking for opportunities, so I can't say that for sure. But I will say right now, don't see much across the board. Going to the markets in Asia, I want to point out, that we've been saying, and I continue to say this trade will take effect at this point, and that would be to be long Asia and short the U.S. or just long Asia. Those markets were up about 1% and change across the board. I think the implementation of tariffs are, in the market, and those markets have gotten destroyed. One trend that I'm picking up on, and it's been 2 days of this, which I don't know if 2 days makes a trend, but this is 2 days. The DAX is up again about 40 basis points, and our markets are soft across the board. So maybe it's the implementation of the 200, whether it be, a 10% or 25%. It's still tariffs, and it's still, hitting the market. So we're looking at those trades. Those trades are still working. Interesting point being, something that we've been looking at. Unfortunately, we didn't trade it, but we were all over looking at it, was which doesn't really help us, is the bond market. Bond yields are on the 10-year up at 306, highest level in a long time. And I saw some comments, very funny comments, out of Gunlock. He said if it goes to 3.25, the market's going to get crushed. But I don't know, 3.25 is pretty far away from 305. So we'll have to see how that plays out. Again, bond yields are elevated. I think it's alternative for people at this point, especially on the 2-year note, getting close to 3%. Is a great alternative to potentially being in an equity market that's up for 10 straight years. So that's something that we may look at as well. Again, I think you gotta, look at this week with a grain of salt, in the sense that it's a triple expiration and a SPY dividend. It generally has a bias to the upside. Yesterday might have been part of that. I'm not sure. I think you may see more into tomorrow's close and Friday's opening. We will look on Thursday, as we said, for the S&P roll, explain all of that, and show some good trading ideas both in SPY and in S&P future options. So today, we'll stay away from that, but tomorrow we'll go into that trading. Looking at our markets, the dollar is extremely quiet, flat across the board. Bonds were lower. Now they're flat, so I guess it's been contained for now. Looking at crude oil as well, flat, up about 5 to 7 cents. And looking at the FANG stocks, or the stocks that we call the movers, they look a little bit heavy. Amazon's down about 4, Facebook's down 50 cents, Apple's flat, and banks look kind of flat. And the emerging market ETFs are up a bit. So, it should be interesting. And Tesla's down a couple. So, we'll keep an eye on all of that. S&P is down $4. Actually, on the low, a tick off the low. It's drifted lower since I woke up this morning at about 6:30. Markets were down about 50 cents. So those markets are weaker into the U.S. opening. It's a little bit surprising. The Dow at one point yesterday, I thought there was some interesting correlations. The Dow at one point yesterday was up like 250 or 70 points, and the S&P wasn't really moving. So it was like, I guess maybe it was tariff related, or that they weren't going to hit these big cap industrial Dow stocks. So maybe they were coming for those. But I noticed, a headline that the Dow closed close to an all-time high, but the highs of, I think, mid-January. So there was some buying of Dow yesterday, and I don't know if they'll come in later today, but so far markets look a little bit weak. I saw, I don't know, I don't really focus on it, but I know Bryn does. Natural gas had a bit of a spike up this week. Interested to hear from her later in the week on explanation on that. As far as volatility, it's still coming in. Even though the market is down today, it's a little bit lower to flat. Market continues to leak lower as we're on the air here. SPOOs are down $4.50. NASDAQ down 11.5. So again, it should be a quiet day, holiday day, but sometimes on these days, markets have a lot more volatility because there's no liquidity in the tape. So we'll keep our eye on that. We'll be here at the Perch for most of the day today, and we will have the markets covered in the chat room for sure. And overall, that's the takeaway. Markets other than the S&P are flat. Bonds are flat. Gold's up 4. Vince is on a holiday day today. It will be interesting to hear from him. It's trading, towards the upper end of the recent range. It's still below 1210. But I know he likes to say when it gets into the teens, it skates through. So I don't know if we're in that skating mode, but it looks bid a bit. And interestingly, it's not off of dollars. So I'm not exactly sure what it is. Our markets, have just come off, $5, $6, $7 from where they were. S&P traded up. They're about 9 off the high, so they were up 3, 4. Now they're down 5. So should be a quiet but interesting day. I think it's a setup day coming into quad or triple expiration, which again we'll go over tomorrow. So we'll be here. We'll be watching, but overall, don't see much. I see some divergences. There's divergences between the S&P and the DAX. The DAX is actually ticking higher as we're ticking lower. So I don't know if it's programs taking off these trades that they've had on for a bit of time, but we'll keep our eye on it. Oil not moving again, and FANGs are down, but not down very much. So it should mostly be a quiet day, but we'll come back to you pre-opening if there are any market movements. And then I wanted to go over the schedule. Schedule is very light today. We have Phil Flynn joining us at 10 o'clock to talk the numbers in oil. and his opinions in the global macro space. And then at 1 o'clock, I'm interested to hear from Tracy. She trades crude oil, S&Ps, pretty much the broad market, but she's very technical in nature, and she's going to be going over technicals and technical analysis on different markets. So we're going to hear from Tracy at 1. And overall, that's really what's going on today. Pricing of the straddle, which is something that we always look at, pricing in about $8. So it's not really pricing in much, but we'll come back to you later in the day to go over all things necessary. So I wish everybody a great trading day and good luck.